Alright, so hey everyone, today I want to take a look at the Deadzones for Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time HD. This is part of the HD trilogy on the PlayStation 3. The camera you rotate around the character as well as zoom in and out, and this is an axial Deadzone, so you need to move the stick horizontally 30% to see horizontal movement occur. And vibrations make it a little difficult to see. And moving vertically, about 30%, has you zoom in and out of the character. Because of the axial region, you have these cross arms that, in this case, give you perfectly horizontal movement. And these vertical regions give you perfectly zoom in and out movement. And you only see both occurring when you break out of both axial Deadzones. This implementation actually works perfectly fine for the camera because you may only want to rotate around the character and you may only want to zoom in and out. So this is axial Deadzones are a very simple way of offering that. And you still have access to both if you want to. Where this might be an issue is in the first-person mode, where this same Deadzone applies. So you have the same shape, and this occurs very abruptly, as well as diagonal movement triggering pretty abruptly. So this may have been preferable to be a circular Deadzone, but the general camera movement works fine as is. Overall, these camera controls are actually better than the ones in the original Xbox version because the Deadzones are smaller and there's less restricted diagonal movement than what was in there. These abrupt movements, both when starting movement as well as the angular changes once you break out of these thresholds, was present in the original Xbox as well. So the camera is better than that version. Movement in this game is a gear shape, and this is similar to what I've just showed with Naruto Rise of a Ninja, just at a different size. So this might have just been a trend for Ubisoft at the time. So it's about 25% in these cardinal regions, and then in the diagonals it's a perfectly circular region. Within these sort of cogs, there's a whole line of restricted diagonal movement. So if you're within this region, the prince will be moving perfectly forward and back, and perfectly left in this case, and perfectly right. Something I've noticed with these kind of Deadzones, and it's less dramatic here than it was in Rise of Ninja, but it seems like when you break out of this threshold, diagonal movement begins pretty abruptly. If I zoom in and show it from here, it happens more so. Close up, you can see that perfectly forward, and then once I break the threshold, it's a pretty noticeable angle, and camera falling will exacerbate that a little bit. What I had thought was the case that was occurring, since it was more dramatic in Rise of Ninja, was that in these diagonal regions, it's possible that the stick angle you point in is actually where the direction the character is moving, and so that's accurate, but within these ranges it's restricting it, so you're actually losing angles within this restriction range. And here it's not as bad because less of the stick is being restricted, but it seems like you are losing a bit of angles in this type of Deadzone. It looks like a thick border here, but this is a threshold for running, and this may have been sort of a similar gear shape, but the difference between it didn't seem obvious, so I just drew it as a circle. but it's pretty consistently a circle for the most part. So this is actually, I'd say, overall movement. Deadzone as well is actually overall an improvement to the original Xbox versions. The original Xbox version had a larger Deadzone, and it was actually sort of a squarish clover shape, with quite a bit more of the stick being restricted. And the run threshold was also a clover shape as well. The only thing that this movement Deadzone does worse is lose diagonal movement. There was more of the stick that was restricted in the Xbox version, but it seemed to be properly scaled, so even once you got out of those regions, then your angles were just shifted rather than removed. Here, there's less restriction, but you actually lose those angles within there. So that about covers things for this game. We're still waiting on the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remaster, so I'll get to that whenever that releases. But yeah, we already have 2 different controls for the original game, and we'll see what the remaster looks like. Anyway, thanks for watching, and everyone, have a good rest of your day.